Hey, what is up, UFC fight fans from around the world, and welcome back to yet another video. And in this one, we're going to be going over some hot takes, some rankings, and some of my personal opinions about the UFC. If you have not seen last week's episode where we talk about UFC 329, go check it out. I have whole picks listed out. Just FYI, I am also going, so it'd be pretty cool to maybe go live and take pictures. You guys make the right decision and go Conor McGregor. So I'm not only listing my own opinions, I'm also picking out some of these hot takes, topics that you guys wanted to talk about. In case you guys want to call me out on some bullshit, I kind of been around the UFC for quite a while, since I was like 9-10 years old. I remember a specific UFC pay-per-view that I watched way back then. I just remember a lot of fighters. I played UFC Undisputed. I think it was the one with Forrest Griffin on it. That's how I started dipping my feet into the UFC. I also grew up wrestling, boxing, karate. I grew up around events here in my hometown where my parents would host and they would be judges. Yeah, we would watch that. We even got to fucking meet the great Herb Dean. I don't know where the fuck that picture's at, but if I do have it, I'll probably post it somewhere. But I do remember like all the big names back then: Rashad Evans, Houston Alexander, Ken Shamrock, Josh Koscheck, BJ Penn, P, Rampage, Forrest Griffin, Brock Lesnar. I can go on, but I doubt you guys want me to list like every fighter I know since back then. But let's get into this next part. In my opinion, I think the GOAT of the sport is GSP. The humbleness, the no use of steroids. For him to lose and then go back and win on every rematch was pretty insane to watch. If I had to pick a number two, I would pick Demetrius Johnson with all the numbers of title defenses. I think those are the 1-2s. I don't consider John Jones the GOAT, in my opinion, even though he's from my home state. But to me, it's the steroid use, the ducking. I'm just going to keep it pretty short and simple. We can go at it in the comment. But yeah, my GOAT is GSP. I'll forever say that. Yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. The next thing is, why will there never be a GOAT? In my opinion, there will never be a GOAT of the sport, no matter how you put it. I think there's way too many variables, and there's so many discussions of why this certain fighter is a GOAT than the other person because of this title defense or undefeated. I don't think undefeated proves a lot, especially with the Khabib take. I am not a Khabib kind of fan. I think he left too early. You know, he retired for the right reason, but I think he left way too early. But yeah, like fighting a bunch of people who are a bunch of nobodies, and then your biggest three wins are what? Justin, Dustin, Conor. I mean, he fought Edson Barbosa too, but Michael Johnson. Yeah, man. I mean, he beats RDA in decision. Edson Barbosa. He beats Ala Quinte. What are we talking about? Like I said, there are way too many variables to distinguish what makes a GOAT, in my opinion. And I think that a lot of us shouldn't definitively say that there is a GOAT, even though I just discussed that. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever come to terms as UFC fight fans that we have a definitive GOAT for various reasons. One thing I did forget, my favorite fighters. I don't have favorite fighters. To me, it's not like a sport. I think this sport is so hard. It's very hard to actually be a fan of like someone, because you know that they're going to be, it takes one bad night and then you're, as a fighter and as a fan. A good example of that is Ilia Topuria. The amount of people that are just switching on him is insane to even think of, because it's like, why jump the bandwagon or why become a fan if you're gonna just flip and say, oh wow, he fucking sucks. So yeah, I've never had a favorite fighter. I do like the icons, even though they go through some ups and downs and a lot of, you know, shit outside of UFC. Everyone's gonna say I am a Conor fan and I am a Pereira fan, which I won't, you know, disagree with them. But, and you're probably gonna think like I am a bandwagon, or like, you know, like of course you'd pick those guys, you know. When I first saw Conor, I was like, holy shit, you know, and like of course I wanted to follow. I think everyone is like that. You want to know like that person, or you want to follow that fighter as a fan, as a UFC fight fan. I say that I'm a UFC fight fan first. I love the sport. I love just watching it. But I do have some favorite fighters, and Conor McGregor is my favorite fighter. So yeah, when I first saw him, it was like, holy shit, like this guy's fucking insane. Like, let's see how far he can go. And even through all his ups and downs of Nate Diaz and the drugs and, you know, all the other shit that you want to talk shit about, you know, I was there as a fan, still supporting him. People would be like, why the fuck are you wearing a Conor McGregor shirt? Loyal to the soil, as you can say. But yeah, I'm the same way with Alex Pereira. I'm getting a lot of shit because they're like, oh, you're an Alex Pereira fan, and he's over here bitching and complaining about Herb Dean. And I'm like, I am just a fan of him. Like, He's gonna do what he wants to do. So shit, even before Conor McGregor, I was a fan of Brock Lesnar, and you know, he fucking left. Yeah, so those are my favorite fighters. I just want to get that out of the way first before I get into these topics. The other thing I do have besides a GOAT, the one thing I did want to talk about was Mount Rushmore. I think the Mount Rushmore does have to take into consideration. People are like, oh, it has to be, you know, John Jones, GSP, Demetrius Johnson, and Anderson Silva. Khabib. If I had to pick, I'm going to put GSP, I'm going to put Demetrius Johnson, and I am going to put Amanda Nunes, simply because there's women in the sports, and I think you have to add the women, and who else better to fucking put? Getting 2 belts, you know, fighting the best of the best, literally shitting on them. I know she had that loss against Julia Pena, but who the fuck saw that coming? Ever. And my 4th slot's gonna go to Conor McGregor. He changed the whole viewpoint of UFC and the most iconic, and I think you have to implement that. If it wasn't for Conor McGregor, half these fucking people wouldn't even know what the UFC is. Yeah, I feel like that's the definitive 4. I don't know if I'm wrong on that. The other thing I have also is grappling isn't bad. You're just not educated, which I do think it's very important to understand. And I do have a really hot take about grappling and wrestling. I understand grappling is important, and people are going to say, oh, well, you should go watch boxing if you can't stand the grappling. No, it's not that. My thing is if you're a grappler and you know you're better, finish the fight, because you know you're better than them. So just simply submit them, choke them out, armbar them. Do something. If we're just watching a snooze fest of top control, you're not implementing any attempts on submissions, you're not attempting to get better advanced positioning, or you're not going for the TKO, then just stand out. A good example that always comes to my mind is the Valentina Shevchenko fight against Zhang Weili. Just laid there. Same thing with Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso. Just laid there. I can go on and on about that, but I'm just trying to prove my point here. And Khabib is the counter argument for that, in my opinion, because he is doing everything he can to beat the fuck out of these guys. He was literally telling, who was it, Michael Johnson, you need to give up. I deserve this. Which is something that you need to do when you're on top control and you know that you're better, rather than just lay there. Bro, this is, those aren't, you're not doing nothing. Stand them up. What are we doing? So yeah, the people, because even in person, when I've gone to these events, I see people where they're like, oh my God, this is so boring. And I've even heard a guy where he was like, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm like, okay, you think you're Joe Rogan, or what the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, maybe I'm not educated enough. Give me your feedback. So one more thing I did want to talk about, in my opinion, was who was the most likely to become a 3rd divisional champ. If I'm going to be honest, it's going to be tough after seeing what happened recently with recent events. Hamzat was considered to be the first to ever do it. Get shot out by Sean Strickland, and I think he wasn't going to cut any more weight. Same thing, Ilia Topuria got slimed out. Alex Pereira got slimed out. Who do I think has the best chance to become 3 divisional champ based off these 3 losses? Because I don't see anyone else trying to become. The only one I do see becoming double champ again is probably Volkanovski. If he wants to fight Justin Gaethje, I think he can, honestly. I think he can take Justin Gaethje into the deep waters. Just because Volk has that experience with Islam. And yeah, I think he's the next one to become at least double champ if he wants to achieve it before he retires. But back to the 3 divisional champ. But I think the one that does have a slight chance, if he decides to go up, he might have a little trouble, who knows? But I think Islam's probably number 1, and I think Pereira's number 2, and then Ilya's number 3. Just because I say Islam because he's got that chance to at least put up a good fight. Maybe against Sean Strickland, he's very taller, he's very more lengthy. If he can do it against Ian Gary, he has the chance to fucking do it against Sean Strickland. I have Alex Pereira being number 2, only because the heavyweight division is not that hard. He has the chance to maybe bounce back off that Cyril Gane fight and beat Josh Hokett, and then you're back in the contention to be the 3rd champ. So he has the next fight between the winner of Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall. And then if he has what it takes, he then fights the loser after the winner. Ilya's best chance, either Islam dips. That's the other topic I wanted to get off my chest before I get into the rankings. I wanted to rank a couple of more things. The UFC, just to have more content. We're going to start off with best rivalries. I only written down 3 just because I feel like there's only 3 definitive ones. Number 3 being Chuck and Tito Ortiz. That's like the pioneer rivalry right there. They've been fighting forever. At number 2, I have DC and Jon Jones. I mean, can I be more clear about that? These motherfuckers hated each other, still hate each other till this day. They don't want to wrestle. They don't want to fight each other. Still talk a lot of shit to each other's faces after that Russian Ultimate Fighter show. And then at number 1, of course, I have Conor and Khabib. The build-up, the press conference, the post-fight. I mean, what better rivalry do we have in the sport other than that? And then I'm going to go into my top 5 favorite walkouts. Before, I have some honorable mentions. I have Ilya Topuria. I have Paddy the Baddy, Sugar Sean. I don't know, maybe that's just recent bias. At number 5, I do have Jon Jones. I'm Coming Home because it is iconic, and a lot of people fuck with that one. Although I don't like the song. Number 4, I have Volk. I love the song, very iconic because of the memes. Number 3, I have Pereira. Chills to see it on TV and then to see it in person. I think it's pretty fucking cool. Number 2, I have Korean Zombie, a guy that no one can hate, and then seeing him not switch up songs throughout his career, his last fight, before he walked in, after he walked out. God, it was just fucking cool to see on TV, and I bet it was even better to see live. And at number 1, you already know the deal. Foggy Doo. At the number 1 spot, it just got better and better and better with time. So yeah, and I'm gonna see that live this weekend. So I can't wait to see that shit. So yeah, that was some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, and some of the stuff that I wanted to rank. Right now, I'm gonna go over some comments. Gonna kind of like speed run them. I had someone say, my hot take is Charles Oliveira beats post-father loss Khabib if Khabib stuck around. There's a lot of great people that I think would have beat Khabib after his father had passed. He's just that guy that's top position, or he'll get out of bottom position and ground and pound. Conor McGregor was never out of his prime. He was just inactive. I think what fucked him up was USADA and the Mayweather fight. I don't think he should have ever taken that Mayweather fight until after his career was almost on the way out. Imavov wins the rematch against Strickland. Probably he looks a lot better. Khabib loses to Taibu, but the judges hand in the decision. The judges are very controversial, probably as bad as the Herb Dean controversy right now. But yeah, I think judges are very biased, bro. O'Malley versus Peter Yan wasn't a robbery. People just overvalued the takedowns. Yan barely did anything to win. Alex Pereira lost fair and square to Gane. There was only 2 shots to the back of the head. Very controversial topic again. I think there was more. There's one angle out there where you can clearly see there was probably like 6. Gaethje passes Dustin in the GOAT debate. Yes, he does. He finally achieved gold. Joshua Van beats Pantoja. Yes, I do think he does beat Pantoja. I think Pantoja, after breaking his arm, won't be the same. What if Dana White never got involved in the UFC business? I don't think it'd be where it's at now, truthfully. And what pisses me off is people discredit Dana White and they blame Dana White for a lot of the things, but to me, he's just the announcer guy. He even said himself he doesn't make the fights, so I don't know why he gets a lot of backlash. What if fighters fought at their real weight? I think fighters don't fight at their real weight because people like Alex Pereira can go down to lower divisions, beat the shit out of people, then go up. I had someone say you should do mid-year award. Fight of the year, breakout star. A lot of people, they're probably going to say right now, because of recency bias, it's probably going to be Justin and Ilya. Probably can't beat that. Fighter of the year, I think it's way too early to say. And breakout star, William Greedy. Yeah, I think a lot of people are riding that wave. It's getting late. I gotta wake up early. I gotta edit real quick. Huge shout out to everyone who did comment and get ready for UFC 329. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video where I talk about some of the controversies and my opinions on the UFC. So I'm ready to hear the feedback. See what happens this weekend at UFC 329. Let's go, Conor.